So Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, body language analysis. We're going to be looking at this. What does this mean? And this. And this. And another one. And then the final one that is going to tell us so much more and will contradict what a lot of people think, probably what I think, what you think, and the world thinks about who is really the most confident going in to this boxing match. And it is a boxing match. Let's call it what it is, all right? Absolutely, it is a boxing match. 8 rounds, Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. I'm laughing because I never thought I would get to say that at all. And we've just had the press conference there. In the press conference, although both fighters tried to give the illusion that they were laid back, it was almost amicable, which is never great for a press conference. Yeah, we want people to get in their faces. We want it to be like Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis-esque. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. But when you are that relaxed, what happens is when your limbic system, remember that's what we're talking about on the Bruce Durham channel here. All right, well, we're looking at psychology and performance and tools and tricks to help you optimize your own performance, but also gauge the opponents that you may come up against in the workplace, in the sporting arena, or just in life in general. And when you are relaxed, your limbic system can take over a little bit more easy, all right? Is that it just takes control. Takes control in a nanosecond. And there are so many tells here within this press conference, the subtle tells that I'm going to talk to you about here. That might actually just give you all a bit of a sense check. And if you're into predictions, all right, if you're into predictions and you're a betting person, you need to be paying attention to what we are talking about here, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is what Jake Paul does. He is talking about foot speed.
But I believe that fighting a smaller man is oftentimes harder as a heavyweight because of the speed difference.
And when you see him talking about his own foot speed, what you see him doing is a little rub of the knee, a little self-soothe. And that's Jake just telling himself, all right? And if you watch that in your meetings, in your interactions, when you are faced with maybe an adversary, if you ever see a self-soothe, what that is that's that person telling themselves, or even you telling yourself, it's okay, we've got this here. So what we see is that limbic system. Remember, people won't always tell you how they feel, but their body, via the limbic system, that psychological pathway, that neural network, will always show you. And that's what Jake is showing here, is that he is hoping that that footwork that he's got will be too much for Anthony Joshua, will be too quick for Anthony Joshua. I think he may see Anthony Joshua as a bit of a stuck in the mud, stagnant type of guy. You know, Tyson Fury gives this bodybuilder rhetoric, which I do not subscribe to at all, by the way, okay? I think AJ is quite quick-footed for his size. AJ has mentioned the problem at all with his cardio, etc. But for footwork, no, I disagree with anybody who says AJ is flat-footed or slow. So Jake's just giving himself a little bit of a soothe there. Now, interestingly, the second bit that I want you to take notice of here is, so AJ is speaking, all right? AJ is speaking. But what you see is the effect on Jake Paul. AJ has seen that it has been a while he's been out the ring, or Ariel Helwani introduces the concept of it, all right? And what you'll find is that with Jake Paul is the actual movement of Jake Paul when AJ says it has been a while. Now you see him touch his nose, all right? Jake Paul touches his nose. Now what that is an uncomfortable sign for anyone. Remember, with body language, we're looking at do they look comfortable or do they look uncomfortable, all right? And what you see here is with Jake Paul, he hopes that AJ has been out of the ring. There's that, like, I hope it has. I hope he is rusty. I'm banking on that, because if he's not, that's the bit that's making me feel uncomfortable. And again, that's why Jake Paul's limbic system has kicked in here. And again, that is, you could probably empathize with that, all right? If you were Jake Paul and you're going up against AJ, you're banking on those months and months. I think it's 12 months that AJ said that he's been out the ring. You want the guy to be rusty. You want them to be not as effective as he has been in the past. So there's a little bit of limbic system activation there, a little bit of uncomfortable for Jake Paul, but all he's saying there is, yeah, come on, please, get that one in the bank. I want you to be as ineffective and as out of shape and your timing off and everything with those 12 months that you've had out the ring. But that's when AJ is saying that he's been out a while. The immediate effect, without Jake Paul even realising it, is the touch of the nose. There's a bit of an uncomfortable feeling there, which is why he reacts like that. Pair up the words and pair up the body language. He's hoping that AJ feels like he's been out the ring for 12 months as well. Now, this is where I love the third part here, okay? The third signal, the tell, the body language giveaway, if you will, is that Ariel Helwani is talking to AJ, and again, it's he comes back across to Jake Paul, and he's talking about Turki Al-Sheikh, you know, who seems to be the ringmaster, the orchestrator, the snake charmer, everything at the moment. He is the number one guy in boxing because he has got the dollars, all right? He's saying about the plans that Turki Al-Sheikh and potentially Matchroom, DAZN, etc. have got for Anthony Joshua in 2026. And what you see Jake Paul do, at that particular moment, so you've got to understand the limbic system. When somebody said something or they have a thought, your body will react in that moment. That's the exact reason why body language can be viewed as quite accurate. All right. In the moment, how did they react? Not 10 seconds later, because it could be a different thing. Now, in the moment when they're talking about the plans, Jake Paul gets that irritated, that annoyed, that fucked off. It's almost like, how dare you plan to beat me and plan past that for 2026? And that's why you see him moving his watch. It's a bit like when people move their clothing, you know, when they get nervous or when they come to do the face-off. You'll see that in a little bit, all right? It's Jake Paul's... I love the fact that he's irritated. I love the fact that he's irritated. Like, how dare you even think to bypass me and start planning as if you're going to be Jake Paul? I love that from a confidence level perspective. Yeah? Is that the guy is genuinely... like, that's not fear. That's a genuine irritation in his self-belief about, well, why would you even think? You've basically dishonoured him. You have, you've in his head, he's probably calling Turki Al-Sheikh a lot of names, all right? But I love the fact that he's that up for it, that he's that wired for it, that he's that stimulated for it. He is irritated at just hearing they're already planning AJ's next fight. I think that's fantastic. Yeah, I think that's absolutely fantastic. Now, the fourth one for me, and there's a couple of things here. All right, it was when they're talking about Andy Ruiz. All right, now we know AJ went to America and he wasn't as successful as he could have been. Yeah, he got beat. I'll show you an example here where there actually is still, I believe, weighing on AJ's consciousness, even though his words are offered in a positive affirmation type way. What his body does is slightly different, but I want to talk about Jake Paul first here. Is when they're saying about Andy Ruiz, which has Jake Paul's alluded to a couple of times in the press conference. All right, what you see is Jake Paul do the confident, what's called the steeple approach. Now, it's just barely visible because of the stand or the table that Jake Paul is sitting behind. But what you'll see is the top of the hands come together. Yeah, now that is a confident position. Some people do it like this, some people do it like that. That is a confident position. That screams that actually, to me, Jake Paul, cerebrally, imagination, visualization, which is a hugely powerful tool. He sees himself in those same shoes as Andy Ruiz. He is confident. Remember the irritation we just spoke about before. He is confident that he can do Andy Ruiz. And I think he says it's Andy Ruiz 3.0 or something like that, or 2.0, as in the second coming. He's the smaller guy. He's got the quicker hands. Jake can absolutely bang. More importantly, he believes that he can bang. He believes he can take him. He believes he can do better or just as well as Andy Ruiz. That's where you get the steepling effect, what you can see here. All right. Now, again, the reason why, people ask me about, well, Bruce, how do you know this? And where's your experience from? Well, my experience is that I've been doing it for 20 years. I go around corporate organisations. I do it with high-performing athletes, all about communication, thoughts and feelings. The behavioural program we do, Think, Feel, Act. Helping people to control the narrative in here helps your thoughts and your feelings. And in case you want to know a little bit more about me, here you go. Globally recognised and award-winning performance psychology specialist Bruce Durham, sharing learning with high-performing athletes and empowering corporate clients to optimise communication, safety and performance via engaging and highly enthusiastic sessions. If you're looking for that next level interactive training or keynote seminars for team days, head across to brewsterroom.co.uk. So again, if you are looking for any corporate training, keynote seminars, anything like that, brewsterroom.co.uk, and I'll come and bless you with my dulcet Newcastle tones and the academic side of us as well. But what I really want to get to here is AJ. We're talking about Andy Ruiz. Now, if you have been hurt, wounded, turmoil, emotional trauma in there, all right? Which is what would have happened with AJ and Andy Ruiz in the first fight. Now, what we have here is AJ is talking about how he gets knocked down, but he keeps going. I get knocked down. I won't sing that. Sorry, went off on a tangent there. But he talks about getting knocked down and keep getting up again. The song just comes into my head. Now, what's interesting is the words are offered in a positive way, but it's his body language. Remember the limbic system. We just do stuff that we've got no idea that we are doing. People will not always tell you what they are showing you or what they feel inside, but their body will always give off a response. And it's that bit that you've got to look at, like when we're doing our communication classes within the corporate clients. Even when I'm working with fighters, how you present yourself with body language can have a massive effect on your opponent if you're a fighter. And also, if you're a fighter and you see your opponent down or tired or fatigued, that can give you a rush of energy. There's so many applications that I actually offer with the body language training, okay? And this one here is a really good example of it. Although AJ is saying everything's good, I get back up, I divide and conquer and come back stronger. And I'm not saying he doesn't, by the way. I'm not saying he doesn't. But what is really obvious here by that touch of the nose as he's saying it, is that there is still to this day, a residual negative emotional memory that resides within AJ that has an impact, because that's why, although he's saying positive words, his body is telling you that he's still traumatized by that. This is, have a look at it here. You'll see him touch the nose when he's saying it. He's uncomfortable. He doesn't like it. It hurt it. It wounded him. Yeah, as it would any type of fighter. Does he still see that Jake Paul could be that smaller fighter with the fleeting footwork, with the big hands that could come over the top like Andy Ruiz did? I don't know. But all I know at that particular moment is that Jake Paul definitely had an impact by mentioning Andy Ruiz. Anthony Joshua gave the rhetoric that, hey, it's all good, it's nothing that I haven't been through before. But his body language told us via that touch of the nose, which is exactly when he was talking about it. You've got that 2-second window. Anything before, anything after probably doesn't count. There's definitely 100% a negative emotional residual energy there about that previous knockout from Andy Ruiz. Is that something that Jake Paul can take advantage of? We will see. And then the last one here, the face-off, all right? What I love about this is the reset drill that Jake Paul goes through. You'll see him walk up to Anthony Joshua here. Now, what I want you to do is I would like you to watch what he does with his hands first. As he's walking, you'll see the weight of the hands. The galvanic skin responses, the heart rate's raised, the temperature's going up, all right? The amygdala is taken over. That's why the fight or flight reaction's kicked in. That's why Jake Paul, you'll see him wiping his hands on his pants, all right? Then what he does, he looks at Anthony Joshua. There he goes through a reset moment, thinking, feeling, acting. He looks down, breathe. Once you've got that breathe, if you're in control of your breathing, I want you to try this in any given situation. If you can become aware of your breathing so that you feel your breathing and you control your breathing, you are in control of you in that situation. Do you suffer from anxiety? Do you suffer from self-doubt? Do you suffer from a lack of confidence? Breathe. Just become aware of that breath. You control that breath. And when you control and are aware of that breath, you're in control of you in the situation. And what I love about this is how he looks up. So he goes down that subservient look. It's not subservient. He's doing a reset drill. He is doing a reset drill. He's controlling himself in the moment, and he looks up and he locks eyes with Anthony Joshua. I love the fact that he's got a technique, a tool, a process to follow that helps him in that particular moment be a better version of him. And then obviously you've got that stare off. So for me, all of those body it's edging towards that actually Jake Paul, for your predictions, for your bets. And I'm not saying this is the way it's going to come off, but please do not think Jake Paul doesn't believe he's in with a puncher's chance. I'm going to do another video tomorrow where I explain Jake Paul is in with more than a puncher's chance when I give you some primary examples of how Anthony Joshua's central nervous system, the cerebral pathways, the neural networks, etc., may not be as strong as we need them to be. Now, Anthony Joshua has adopted his boxing style. He's changed it. He's made those adjustments to protect his chin, and he's done that very well. But there is still a question mark there, and that's something you can't train. Your central nervous system can either take it or it can't. And as you get older, you lose what they call that punch resistance. I wonder where Anthony Joshua is with that. All right. But from this press conference, taking all that, Jake Paul is mega confident. What I would say mega confident is more confident than we actually believe. He's confident in his ability. And why not? Look what he's done in such a short space of time. Anybody who gives Jake Paul stick for what he's done within such a short space of time, you've got no idea about boxing. Look at any other boxer's resume and compare that with Jake Paul. He is doing phenomenal. And for me, it's that confidence. It's that self-belief. Now, again, we all know every plan goes well until you get punched in the face. I just think we're going to get a fantastic version of Jake Paul. The best version of Jake Paul. Does it mean that he's going to win Anthony Joshua? I don't know. All right. But what I do know is that we are going to get a primed, physical, mentally, a specimen coming into that ring, because this is his chance to prove to the world how good he is. Even his relationship with Eddie Hearn. This is a chance to put one over on Eddie Hearn as well. So for me, confidence breeds performance. And that's what we've got with Jake Paul here. And that's what makes it an exciting fight. Put all those body language tells together, put all those narratives, the self-soothes, even the irritation about their making plans going ahead of me, the steepling about the Andy Ruiz effect. Jake Paul is confident. Oh, this is going to be a banger. So I hope you've learned something. If you've enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, comment below. If you think I'm great, tell us. If you think I'm an absolute full of shit, tell us as well. I'll respond to your comments. Remember, if you have got any training needs or seminar needs, brucedurham.co.uk. But until next time, people, remember, you are way more capable than you believe, and I see all of your potential. Till next time, people.